Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about my cars and my trucks and my motorcycles and other things in my life. And this morning, appreciate those that watch my channel on a regular basis. Appreciate the support. And wow, down here in Tennessee, and it's the handyman to-do list projects that I'm doing down here. Just time, man. I tell you what. Does anybody as you get older in life just think that time goes faster? I mean, it's just never enough time. I mean, it just is to me. It's like poof, time is gone. I spent 3 hours. I mean, I'll say 2.5 of beginning my power cleaning, since I don't say the washing, like people think I should in my talking here. So I spent hours and hours yesterday cleaning my mother-in-law's driveway here, and I'm sure this hasn't been done in, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever been done. So yesterday I got the power wash out and I cleaned up this whole wall, which it was just had a lot of algae in it. You can see the difference of where I've been cleaning the driveway. And yeah, I mean, I really spent a lot of time with detail of doing all this, and Jesus Christ, just wow. So just think about this. It was 2.5 hours of work. So to continue this project, I would just have to say there's at least 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours, I would have to say. I mean, of just really cleaning it, really. I mean, I can just spray it and just kind of, do a light clean on it, which it may just have to go to that because it's just so much time. But I mean, look at the difference of that deck. Oh my gosh, and I use my electric power washer in here today, so my goal now is kind of cool down here this morning. Kind of see if I got a little heavier shirt on. My project is the back side of the house. So if you look up here, you can just see all the algae. So, that's going to be a project. And I think I don't know if I've gone buy a ladder to do that or not. I don't think my mother-in-law has a big enough ladder for that. So yeah, and I used the electric power washer, which for me, so many years ago, I used to have the gas power washers, power cleaners, what do you want to say? And the electric ones are just so much easier to deal with without having to fight getting the engine going. Yeah, the engines. Look at the engines. I mean, I thought to myself this morning, what would be a great topic for the Friday Memorial Day weekend conversations? And I get to think to myself, engines. Got to get my coffee. Got my little coffee set up here, and got my little kitchen down here. This thing can be hot as heck, but I need coffee. So yeah, it's hot. I got it. It's too hot. I need ice. So yeah, so let's talk about the engines. You got engines in cars. You got engines in the motorcycles, and yeah. And I just was thinking to myself this morning on how, what's the true beginnings of transportation? And the steam engine, which really, the true beginnings. I mean, I guess horses, but talking about mechanical items. And I just think to myself, when you look at these engines, how do you like my daughter's purse there, right? Isn't that pretty cool? Whose bike do you think this is, right? I mean, look at the pinstriping. It's such a really beautiful bike, but I never saw this fine detail pinstriping this motorcycle, which when I first went to buy this thing, I was instantly like, it's a girl's bike. And I was turned off. I was like, I'm not interested because it's a woman's motorcycle, in my opinion. The colors and the striping. So anyways, same motors, believe it or not. It's just incredible how you have a 116 motor on this motorcycle here. That's probably, well, I don't know. If you go over here to my Chieftain, well, I would say maybe it's 100-pound difference. Maybe, I don't know. 50 for sure. Because of the bags. I mean, these bags each have to weigh 25 pounds each, would be my guess. But anyways, and then the bat wing. So I'd say 75, 80 pounds. So yeah, so the true beginnings of the motorheads of our world, of the engines. And I just thought to myself, you look at these engines, just look at all the detail. Look at all the work. Look at all the hands and material and all the things that are related to these engines. I mean, you just look at this, the heads on this V-twin cooled engine, air-cooled engine, pretty cool, and how even in modern day times, the air-cooled engine works. You don't need liquid to make it work. In some aspects, you got the oil cooler, so in that aspect, that's cooling down the engine. But I mean, you just look at the fine detail on that engine. And you just think to yourself, the hands, the materials, the amount of work that was involved in making that engine, and the manufacturing, and then you think about the gas tank here and the fuel that makes this engine run. So, which came first? I thought to myself this morning, you kind of think about where we are in today's society, talking about that electric power washer. You know, where are we in today's world? And it's this electric, it's the battery. That's not a battery-powered power washer, but it's plugged into an outlet. But it's electric, and electric motor. And I just think to myself, once again, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And it depends on what your beliefs are in this world. And so, yeah, we all know the gas engine, per se, I should say the engine, I guess came before electric, even though there was electric around 100 years ago. There were electric cars because of the war, kind of created fuel issues. And so there was electric cars. Didn't go very far. It was for the elitist. So I think to myself, the engine, and I think the engine can mean lots of things. I mean, what drives the engine of our economy? I mean, that term can be used in different ways. But you know what you do? We go over here and look at the Hellcat. I mean, who would imagine a 6.2 liter Hellcat engine with a supercharger on it? And even for me, it's just too much information. And what size supercharger is that? And borderline, that supercharger is as big as some 4-cylinder engines in many vehicles. But you just look at the detail, the casting, and the manufacturing of the product. And once again, it needs fuel, energy to run it. It could be E85, can be premium gasoline. So different forms of liquid fuel can be used to make this thing run. And so I just think to myself, all the things are tied into this engine that creates this car, that creates an industry of many people that earn a living from making this stuff. And then the other things that go along with it. I mean, you have insurance companies, right? You have maintenance companies. You have body shops. You have tow truck companies to tow them up and down the road to transport them, or, transport trucks. You have car dealerships. You have the tire industry, the wheel industry, the windshield industry. It just is... it's borderline infinite of all. Then the aftermarket customization that you can change out your pulley on this to get more power out of it, upgrade the exhaust. You can put a different tune in the motor. I mean, it's just like on the motorcycles. There's just so many things that are tied to these vehicles that we all have a passion for, these engines. And then the exhaust note, I mean, just wow. I mean, it's the engine of the world. It's what drives the world economy. It's what drives this world on, I should say drive this country on the amount of monies that are made from cars. And what's the driving engine of our country? Transportation, health, energy, food. And I'm sure, I'm not the genius of the YouTube channel here, but I'm just thinking the engine that drives our country, what are the main things that enable to make good money and afford nice things and have a job and a career, and what drives that? I mean, I think these vehicles are such a huge part of the whole infrastructure of this country that it's just incredible in how we're seeing a transition that's being forced more than ever to get away from the engine that moves these vehicles to a battery, into a generator, basically, electric motor, to get us to go down the road. And what really intrigued this was, hold on here a second. That coffee's so hot. What really caught my attention is that Slingshot R. So if you watched any of my YouTube videos that populated yesterday, that Slingshot R, Slingshot, believe it or not, I have always wanted a Slingshot over the years. I've just have kind of mixed feelings. And then I kind of saw they were redesign it, update it. So I kind of waited for all that to kind of play out, which they did. And I just kind of got all caught up in riding motorcycles all the time. But here's the thing. The Slingshot that I drove yesterday, one thing for sure, getting in that vehicle and getting out, oh my gosh, it's very challenging. And even to a point that I don't know. I mean, part of me is like, I don't know. I mean, that thing, it doesn't make much sense on how they kind of designed that, entry and exit of that vehicle. I mean, if you had any type of injury, I don't know if you could get in and out of that thing. So very challenging. So definitely kind of have to weigh that if we kind of move forward in that or not. But here's the thing. The engine in that vehicle is so noticeable when you drive down the road. And it's so cool. And if you watch my videos from me driving that Slingshot R with that manual transmission, it was just a lot of fun. And in some aspects, it really kind of give you that motorcycle fun to a degree. Not totally, because these motorcycles require you to have really a lot of skill to ride these. And it's just a whole different thing. But if anything, it gives back to you being outside, going down the road, and you just feel like you're in touch with going, good speeds down the road and having the wind go through your hair or helmet. And it just is it's just a fun vehicle. Sure is pretty down here, isn't it? Just a really pretty area down here. You don't see down here is bicyclists. I'm not lying. You do not see cyclists down here because the roads, there's so many mountains and turns and hills. And I just think that if you're a cyclist, and I could be wrong, I'm sure there's parts of the area down here, maybe there are cyclists, but I rarely see people riding bicycles down this area. I mean, because it's so many hills, but I could be wrong, but I just don't see them like they do up in my area where you see them these back roads all the time. So the engines that, so the whole point here is, for me, transition of energy in our country more than ever. And I just thought to myself this morning, when the oil industry, which came first, the oil or the car? Well, we kind of know that answer. But I think to myself, was the oil industry subsidized back in the day to get people to buy cars to put gas in them? Versus today, we're seeing the highest, the Inflation Reduction Act passed by Joe Biden's administration to enrich the battery manufacturers and the electric car manufacturers to build electric vehicles. And they're giving billions of dollars of tax monies to entice them to transition from the ICE age to the EV age. And so I just think to myself, did the oil industry get that same treatment? But then I think to myself, to be the anti-ICE person that would challenge all this, and say, yeah, but the oil industry created the problem that we have today in today's world of the carbon footprint problem, of the Mother Nature problem. So the oil industry, they should be paying the bill to, in so many ways, to fix what they created. Okay, so that could be a big argument. But at the same time, I'd say, well, yeah, and get for the record, for the people that make a living off of the fossil fuel industry, it's obvious they're going to pay dearly to enrich the EV industry through the taxes and the more expensive energy. And these people that have ICE vehicles that have jobs are going to have to make even more money to subsidize the EV green agenda. So in the end, they are paying for it. So, hello, right? I mean, is that true? Even though, a guy like Gavin Newsom in California, he wants to go attack the oil companies in California and make them pay more of their profits to enrich the government for their agendas. And then now, a conversation on the debt ceiling limit is, are they going to take away the EV tax incentives? That's something is on the back end right now is being talked about. Do they negotiate in this reduction of government spending that if they take away the incentive of people buying an electric vehicle to get a tax break, which is going to cost the government, I guess, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to entice people to buy these vehicles. So it's just such an opposite trend that the governing bodies are forcing upon the citizens of the world to change over the way we get around in transportation. And I just think you go back 100 plus years ago and, how did the oil industry evolve into the automotive industry that enriched itself and not at the taxpayer's expense? So, I mean, wow, right? And can you even imagine the oil industry pushing? I mean, in so many ways, I guess some people would argue that, yeah, the oil industry's won out many, many times. I mean, I don't know. I think it kind of gets deep. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, here we are with these things on these motorcycles and in our cars that have come such a far way of reliability and power and fuel efficiency. I mean, these motorcycles here, they get in the 40 mile per gallon range. And in the cars as well. I mean, cars today, there's 30 mile per gallon vehicles out there. And then if you go to the hybrid electric motor setup combination, 40, 50 plus miles per gallon is very attainable. But once again, I think to myself, these engines in these cars, when these vehicles start to become engineless and battery, a battery pack underneath of it, what is the impact to the engine of our country? What does it do to the infrastructure that drives our country? So if you stop and get radical and you think about the fuel, the oil industry, let's just say that, you go 30 to 50 years from now, the oil industry, the gas stations, there really aren't many gas stations around, let's just say 50 years from now. The mechanics that work on these vehicles, their jobs are gone. The dealership infrastructure for maintenance and all this other stuff, you'd have to say that infrastructure is pretty much all gone. That's just off the tip of my tongue. The brakes, your disc brakes and your rotors, that industry is going to dry up because the wheel motors do such a good job of helping stop the car. And then if these vehicles become so safe, the autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence, the car insurance industry possibly is significantly less of a presence because of the vehicles aren't crashing as much. The auto body industry that sees the loss of crashed vehicles. I mean, these are just there's just so many variables that you can start thinking about. The SEMA, the Special Equipment Manufacturers Association, do they see a huge decline in aftermarket performance things for electric vehicles because it's just a whole different age and time? So it's pretty incredible on how going through the list of what the impacts of the electric vehicles will do to the engine of what we know of today. Oh, there she is. There's my little baby. Hey there. Hi. What you doing, baby? Huh? Hi there. Does the wife ever do that when she sees you for the first time in the morning? Huh? Does she ever do that? And there's the kid getting dressed again. And so I'll get distracted now. I'm going to lose my momentum here on all my conversation. The dogs took it away. The kids not even got her shoes on, dressing correctly. I didn't even know these teenage stories. The kids, she didn't even take the time to put her shoes on right. Yeah, it's locked. Guess you gotta go get the key to open it, right? So, oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, so anyways, yesterday we're coming back from the Indian dealership, and we're over near Bristol, the Bristol Motor Speedway. And it was interesting, about a mile, I don't know, about 2 miles from that racetrack, there was this speed shop sign out on this old road, old sign, shop site gone, but I thought to myself, wow, was that speed shop sign something back in the day when Bristol, Motor Speedway and the drag strip, that was a big hopping thing, and that speed shop was, making a living and was in business because of the Bristol Motor Speedway. But then as times progressed, it lost its flavor of the people around, or things changed and they didn't adapt to the times, and it's gone. Hey, what's Scout eating? Check on him. He's over there eating. So anyways, there's an example of just, we all know the times have changed, right? I mean, who hasn't witnessed that businesses have to adapt and change, or you just go out of business? But at the same time, I think more than ever, with artificial intelligence, is anybody really following this NVIDIA, NVIDIA semiconductor manufacturer I talked about yesterday? These guys are going to be a $1 trillion valued company because of the artificial intelligence needing these special superpower semiconductors. These guys are getting orders like never seen, and they're the hottest microchip manufacturer, semiconductor. Yeah, do you think I'm having challenges here right now? Maybe I have a kid. Maybe I have family. I mean, yeah. Have you heard these stories? Yeah, you start to talk and you get overridden. So, yeah, so that what's going on? Well, here's Elon Musk. He just announced the Neuralink, where he wants to put a chip in your brain. I mean, we are truly witnessing the Terminator movie. We are truly witnessing Westworld, where the human robots are right on our doorstep. The chips being embedded into your body are right here on our doorstep. I mean, the cars driving themselves, and the spaceships showing up, the airships showing up that are driving, flying around. I mean, they just are like a drone. I mean, it's already going on, right? I mean, what's going on, all these wars? Right, so I think to myself, okay, we talked about the car industry, keep an eye on these little puppies, and I think to myself, the engine, what drives the engine of our country? I just talked about, the food sector, I guess you say agriculture, energy, military, defense. I mean, there's so many sectors of of our industry, of what drives this country's economy. But I think to myself too is, what drives, what makes sense? I mean, anymore, is anybody just kind of to the point in life where the engine, okay, so we'll use the engine. It's a gasoline engine. What's a 4-cycle, 2-stroke, the basics of an engine, of how it operates. But yet, you take that same type of principle. Yeah, the dog won't come to with the dog's ignoring. Hi, how you doing, buddy? So he comes right to me. Hi there. And so my daughter over here, he won't come to her. Hi, Scouty. Yeah, he doesn't want to see you, does he, huh? Oh, there he is. Yeah, so anyways, so just the basic principles of what makes sense. 4 wheels and tires that rotate to go down the road. Yeah. And then society of logical thinking, and it seems like this is like me saying to you, I'm going to put water in my car today, and the car will run. It'll work. I mean, that's kind of where we are with the RU people anymore, about the logic of what's going on and the governing bodies and the agendas that we're witnessing that makes any sense. Defund the police. It'll be fine. Just get rid of all the police. Let out criminals out of prison early. They don't need to be in prison. Raise the limit on when an actual criminal activity, actually a crime, is committed at a retail store, so you can steal a ton of stuff and not be persecuted. Let the immigration laws just go to nothing, so everybody can just show up on our doorstep and walk in this country and sign a piece of paper. They'll show up to court 3 years from now to claim asylum. So you just start going through the list of all the things that are just, so the logic, you're truly being told that you're an idiot, that you support logic in our country. I mean, is anybody, it's just, you go on Twitter, there's this one guy, I think he's got to be paid by somebody. I think he's paid by George Soros, and he just mouths off all day long. All day long. So he does. This guy can't have a job. He just posts one thing after another, and he creates a debate of everything. But when you see the views that he has and what he feels is right versus wrong, you just scratch your head. And then to see all the people that support the way he thinks, and you just scratch your head. And it's like, once again, hey, you can add water to your gas tank and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Your car will run. That's where we are in today's society. You can deflate the tires in your vehicle, and since there's a rubber tire wheel, since there's a rubber tire on your wheel and it has no air pressure in it, it's fine because there's a rubber tire on that wheel. So it'll be fine. Everything will be great. Don't worry about it. Hey, you don't have to add any oil to your engine. In fact, just drain the engine oil out and your engine will be fine, especially if you put synthetic motor oil in it, because it bonds to the metal and it'll keep on running. I mean, this is where we are. More than ever, and how people think they can expose their little kids to these really weird shows. You can teach in schools things that so many people are saying that just really isn't appropriate school material that I think my child should be learning at this young age. And they're really going to school to be taught how to think, not what to think. I mean, so once again, the engine of our economy is one thing, but the engine of our society seems to be changing it's like the EV age transition is a whole nother transition of everything that's for me, it's a YouTube channel, and I just know if I get kind of really start talking about things in great length and detail, this will be taken down, so I'm not going to do it. All right, everybody, I think my engine right now is, and I'm probably hearing from my kid and my wife, is we want breakfast. We need to get some food and energy in us to keep our engines going. And for me, what plays out today, yeah. Aw, what a little cutie. He is wound up. Get her, get him, get her, get her, get him. Get him. Nah, stay back here. Don't get on that road. What happened to him? Woo! I mean, what is this all about? Don't roll down the hill. They'll just start rolling down that hill. They'll be rolled all the way down. Look at that girl beats him up every time. Yeah, who do you think's gonna win? That little girl. That little girl just kicks his butt. These ladies in the world, yeah. Maybe these stories. Aw, what good little puppies, right? Yeah, there you go. Their engines are all revved up, aren't they? Yeah, all right. So anyways, everybody, hey, once again, thanks for watching my channel. And we're down here on vacation time. Everybody's kind of like, come on, man, let's go. We're going to practice. Is Mom up?
No.
What? You're telling me I'm in a rush here and Mom's not even up?
No.
Oh, well, I guess I have to keep on talking, right? Yeah, whatever. Well, maybe we go get a breakfast.
Krispy Kreme.
Okay. All right, there's the kid. Do we get the Slingshot R today?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
You?
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth it? But can I even get in and out of it?
No.
I told you.
Like the F-250 Tremor.
Here she goes.
Or soft top Jeep manual.
And here we go. Never good enough. Never good enough. Never good enough. Here you go. Look. Oh, now she's fixating a Jeep 2-door Wrangler. Oh my gosh. Yeah, is anybody bleeding? Is anybody crying for this kid right now? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
all right, everybody.
So wound up.
He is. What's going on?
I don't know.
His engine's revving.
I know.
We need to give him another bath and give him he needs a little trim and a little bath.
Yeah,
Okay, may do that today. All right, everybody. Hey, once again, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate it. Nice comments, support. Share the channel. That'd be great. Share with your friends, other people, just things to think about and talk about. And today's,
Dad,
yeah, here we go.
the haircut is on his face.
Aw, well, who did that?
You.
Right.
I think it looks so good though.
Yes, he does. He's a little cutie. Stinky breath, but he's cute. Right, little ginger baby? And Scouty. Oh, hi, little buddy. So, I wonder if they want their food. I don't think their food enough.
Dad, it's only because I'm petting him so much and talking to him.
Okay. All right, everybody, for watching. God bless. Stay safe and stay tuned for maybe another adventure. We shall see. Have a great day.